as well. Of course, as you've been following our coverage this afternoon, we've been following that explosion and fire at a lumber mill in Searsmont. Multiple people have been injured there. Civilians and firefighters is what we're learning at this point. It happened early this, well, I shouldn't say early this morning, around 10 o'clock this morning at Robbins Mill. We'll be checking in with our crew live on the scene in a little bit of what we're learning.
We have heard from Thorndike Fire that firefighters were injured and civilians were injured. We just heard from public safety officials as well, who really couldn't tell us too much about this. This is earlier. This is obviously not a live shot of Searsmont right now. This was earlier in the day, though, when we could see some of those flames coming up over the tree line. So public safety officials say this is still very much an active scene, and we do know that some fire equipment has been damaged in this massive fire as well. We also heard from a spokesperson with Robbins Lumber who said that the mill will be shut down for the rest of the week as this investigation continues. Still
very active scene. We will have it covered from a number of angles. We have multiple crews to bring you team coverage over the next few hours. Want to check in with meteorologist Ryan Breton, however, with a look at your forecast and how all of this breaking scene ties into what Ryan's been tracking today as well.
Yeah, good afternoon, guys. A quick check of the forecast right now. We have temps that are in the 60s here in eastern Maine, 64 in Bangor, 60 in Waterville, upper 50s to the south where there have been clouds and off and on showers through the day. But a lot of those showers are now drying up. You can see this steady area of rain, which was over southern Maine and dropped more than 3 inches of rain in Portland, has now pivoted to the south. We have a few little small sprinkles and showers, a few up around Route 2, but the trend is going to be for these to dry up and for drier air to both come in from the north and then warmer weather to come in from the west. We have a really nice weekend on the way. There's only one chance for any rain, and it's really mainly overnight tomorrow night. There could be a passing shower as this front comes in from the west. So for any Friday evening plans, you may have a shower around for the next couple of hours, but the trend will be for those showers to dry up. Clouds will be diminishing too, and it's not going to be terribly cool overnight tonight. We'll be starting tomorrow morning with lows that are in the mid to upper 40s, and given the sun comes up so early this time of the year by 6, those numbers are already on the way up, and we are in for a really warm day tomorrow. Mostly sunny skies. Now notice the wind here coming in out of the west over the land, but over the ocean a sea breeze will tend to develop. Before it happens, Portland could get up into the mid 70s, but if you're at the water's edge, it's probably going to be a little cooler than that. Lots of sunshine out there through the day tomorrow, and again, no weather issues all day long, and it is going to be a warm one. We get to 76 degrees tomorrow in Bangor, 75 in Lewiston, 72 in Portland, and again, this time of the year, it's all about the wind direction. If we hold off any sea breeze, Portland itself could be a little bit warmer, but of course on the mid-coast and down east, if you're on any islands and peninsulas surrounded by water, it'll be cooler at the water's edge tomorrow because of that southerly breeze. We have a front that comes through overnight tomorrow night, though. That brings the chance for a shower. And behind that front, Sunday is likely the warmest day of the weekend, when some places could make a run up toward 80 degrees. Warm weather sticks around into next week, too. I'll be back with more on that in a few minutes.
Ryan, thank you. We will see you in a bit. Want to get back to our breaking news out of Searsmont at Robbins Lumber, where multiple people have been injured, both civilians and firefighters.
As you can see, our Sean Stackhouse is joining us live. He's been our man on the ground throughout the afternoon with what's happening there. Hi, Sean.
Brian and Amanda, we still have many questions that we're hoping to learn. The investigation is still far from even being started, as we learned just about a half hour ago from the Maine Fire Marshal's office. Fire Marshal Sean Essler providing us those details. But what we can give you new information on is what we're seeing out of the fire as it stands. If you've been following our coverage since we started here shortly after noon, there is a significant decrease in the smoke that is coming. Flames are not visible from above this tree line. But when we arrived hours ago, fire was shooting up above those lines. It was a dark black plume of smoke. That has since changed, so there is some significant progress that is being made. But from what we've gathered from officials, there is still quite a long ways to go in responding to this fire, knocking it down, and investigating what exactly caused this to happen. Again, we're still waiting to learn any information on the extent of injuries. We have had confirmed that there were firefighters as well as civilians that were injured in this blaze. We do not know the extent yet or what caused it. We'll be keeping updated on air and online as we learn any new information.
Stackhouse live for us there on the scene in Searsmont this afternoon. Thank you. That started our team coverage, of course. There were a number of people injured in today's explosion and fire. Still looking at those live pictures right there. We do know that Maine Health was expecting 10 people to be transferred to Maine Medical Center, which is the state's only level 1 trauma center. Injured people are also taken, we know, to Northern Light facility.
Our Pearl Small is at Maine Medical Center, where officials there told us they have had teams on standby ready to treat patients. Pearl, at this point, what can you tell us?
Hey, Brian and Amanda. So I am right outside of the emergency department entrance behind me, if you could see that. But as you said, that the latest we heard from a representative from Maine Health was that they expect to receive 10 patients from the Searsmont incident at some point tonight. They did not say when or how many had already gotten there. We did see two Life Flight helicopters land earlier today, one around 2 o'clock this afternoon, and we just saw another one just a bit ago. And you know, Maine Health, only level 1 trauma center in the state, like you said, also the one with a burn unit, as we know. We were also told that the patients were initially treated at Penn Bay Hospital in Rockport and Waldo Hospital in Belfast. Just for some more background, just from reading the Waldo County Emergency Operations Plan, we know that during a mass casualty event, Waldo County Hospital cannot take more than 8 patients at a time in their emergency department, and it says even less if they're in critical condition. They may be able to handle the first 2 critical patients, but the remaining patients after need to be transported to a hospital outside the county. We know Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center received 1 patient as of 2 in the afternoon, and the patient was last described to be in critical condition, but the latest update that we just received was that that patient had actually been discharged to another facility. They did not say what facility that was, but they did say that they do not expect to receive any other patients at that hospital tonight. So we do know again that there will be 10 patients from the incident here at Maine Medical Center in Portland, and that's pretty much the latest update that I have for you guys from here, Brian and Amanda.
Live for us in Portland. Thank you, Pearl. And we also do know that 1 patient was taken to Northern Light, and they are in critical condition. Now, when we talk about that mass casualty event, it's hard to really understand what exactly that means.
Yeah, Bailey Cornick is live in our studio explaining what that terminology means. Hi, Bailey.
Hey, Brian. Hey, Amanda. So the term mass casualty event, I agree, can be misleading and frankly can be quite alarming. Part of the reason why is we often confuse or use casualty and fatality interchangeably. But it's important to remember casualty is defined as a person killed or injured in an accident, disaster, sudden event, or war, whereas fatality is strictly defined as death. This is how Cornell law defines a mass casualty event. The first requirement from Cornell is also worded confusingly, but essentially it's an incident resulting in casualties to 3 or more victims, including the following conditions. The first is the incident exceeds the normal resources for emergency response available in that area where the event is taking place. And 2, the incident results in a sudden and timely surge of injured people needing those emergency services. The explosion at Robbins Lumber today ticked those boxes. It's also important to differentiate a mass casualty event from a mass fatality event, which means multiple deaths. So again, in this case, the incident in Searsmont has been classified as a large-scale mass casualty incident. That's why we wanted to explain this sort of umbrella term to you all at home that you've likely now seen or heard a few times. Brian and Amanda, I'll toss it back to you guys.
Bailey Cornick with a little refresher of some terminology we're hearing a lot this afternoon. Bailey, thank you. Now, according to their website, Robbins Lumber was founded on the St. George River in 1881. It grown from there through the decades.
Yeah, the original mill burned in 1957 and it had to be rebuilt. And then in 1969, they ran out of space, so they moved to their current 40-acre site. And this is video, by the way, from about a year ago when we were visiting the facility. It burns industrial wood waste to provide heat and power for the plant, which buys logs from more than 150 independent loggers. They own and manage 30,000 acres of forest. They also grow tens of thousands of Christmas trees. And we know that they work with a lot of different companies, about 150 companies that actually will bring them their lumber to mill there at the site. And so certainly this is significant for the industry. We actually heard from a representative from the company earlier who said that the mill will be closed for the next week as they investigate. So significant impact on the industry.
Yes, and generations, 5 or 6 generations to be at that family, at that business. So many connections, and a lot of people around the state wondering what happened there and who was injured. The questions we're all working on tonight. We are going to take a brief break. We'll be right back.